So the observant among you might notice that this is the first cast of the year, and I've got to say, I've picked a pretty remarkable place for a first cast of the year. Gonna have a wee bash today for a spring salmon, and again, I'm always at pains to point out that Lewis is a growth fishery and that we don't get a spring run as such. So spring fish are few and far between, like there aren't any pretty much, but every year we manage to get a handful, literally a handful. So I've come out, it's the middle of April, and I thought, well, the water's great. I've been working at sheep for the last wee while, but sort of have a day off today, so I thought I'll have a cast for a springer. And I thought, well, I'll bring you along with me. You might as well come and see. I'm fishing maybe actually a wee bit light. There's a bit more water than I expected. But my experience with the springers is if they want the fly, they'll come up and get it. Pretty much. So, but I might come down it with a tube later. I'm on one of John McLean's salmon flies that he just tied up for me recently. It's a sort of black and silver thing. So I'm going to move slowly downwards. Oh, there's the eagle. Do you see him? Well, yes, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's spotted a springer for me. I'm going to move slowly downwards, not spend too much time here, and then, but I might come down it again with a tube or something, maybe even slightly faster sinking line. We'll see what the bottom of it looks like, because like I say, for me, the bottom of it is the key bit. Especially for a springer. The growth sometimes lie up here in this faster water, but I always kind of feel that the springers lie down at the bottom, literally right at the bottom. Well, this pool's fishing really nicely. It's just like perfect, you know. You know where you just get that with some pools and you feel, it's just on form. Now, as I've explained, the chances of there being a spring fish in it are very, very slim because we don't get a run of spring fish. Here, stop. There's always a small possibility. Like I say, you know, some years you get a handful of fish, you know. Some you're getting them. Just check the fleet. Oh, that's fine. Especially with a wee blink of sun, we'll try and keep the false casting to a minimum if we can. Not always possible, especially once the high bank starts behind you, you're kind of, you know, I think it limits what you can do, but we'll try and do that. All the wee birds are starting to twerp and fly about. Sometimes the next pool down, sometimes the dipper has his house in a good place on it, so maybe we'll see him. We'll look when we get down there. The thing is, there's a good hut down there for making tea, so it won't be long till I'll be applying myself to that, because I must have been fishing for nearly 15 minutes now. There's like olives coming off the river as well, and sometimes when the olives come off, all of a sudden it appears like it's full of brown trout, and you think, well, where did they all come from, you know? So, I'll maybe take a wee look at the pool below now. See, because there's a good spot there for making tea, which is obviously a priority, as you'd understand. And then I might try this with a sinker or a heavier fly. John tied me some of these flies as tubes as well, so I've got them as doubles or tubes. I'm fishing a double at the minute, so I might try them as a tube. But my experience with the springers is they'll come up, that nearly a floating line and a wee doubles. Seems to be as good as anything for them here. So, I think I'll go down a pool, see if there's anything in there. There we go, I'll take a wee stroll down here, see the next pool down, and as you can see, there's great water coming down here. The only thing is the fish will go shooting right up, but hey, that's sure one of these things. And to be honest, the fish here tend to run up really quickly anyhow, so the fact that they would do it today is not really very remarkable. The spring fish just go up like a rocket. And later in the year, this is a growth fishery, later in the year obviously there's fish everywhere, but just at this time of year the spring fish are going up. So as you see, there's a wee hut here, and the good spot for fishing, and looks like it's nearly at 6, is it, on the gauge? So it's high, you know. So I'll give this a throw, and then, like I say, we might change to a sinker, a sink tip, dear, because this is looking higher than I expected. But again, I like it height like this, you know, so we'll give it a throw. Somewhat annoyingly, the wind has come to my face here. It's not very strong wind, but obviously if it's on your face, that's not as good as having it behind you, you know. So my experience here is the fish are always out at that wee wall. You see the river kind of flows over a wee wall out in front of us, and I seem to find they're always out there. Rather than in on this side. I guess you never know. The one thing about fish is they don't care what I think, you know. See, this is where I'd expect the fish to be. Right, I think I'll move down to the sea pool next. It's only a wee pool, you know, no big, but nonetheless, it's got to be worth a cast, you know. So this is looking fantastic as well. I'm never such a fan of the sea pool here. It's not a great pool because it produces lots of fish. I just don't seem to be able to get on terms with it or seem to be able to understand it, you know. That's more my problem with it. So as you can see, I've come down to the sea pool. Next stop is the sea, and next stop Canada, I suppose. Like I said, I've never just quite got a handle on this pool. People do get fish at it and do really well on it, but I've just never just quite got on top of it, you know. Never quite know what to do with it in any height of water, and obviously it's quite big today. We have quite a lot of water, to say the very least. There's lots of rocks and stuff in this, so wee pool there. There'll be a wee finnick probably. There's lots of wee finnick in it sometimes, but yeah, there's lots of rocks in it, so it's not actually very deep, but there's good lies between the rocks. So actually fishing the you know, just a double is probably the way to go. I would imagine anything much heavier would lead me into a wee bit of trouble on the rocks and stuff. Yeah, it'll be a wee finnick. That smooth water, the other side of the disturbed water, seems to have like a good head of wee finnick. I mean, you could stand here all day taking wee finnick out of it, mostly. Let's see what it is. Yeah, actually, it looks to me like a sea trout's kilt, actually. So that looks to me like a sea trout kilt. Obviously, it could just as easily be a brown trout. You can't be 100% sure, but that's what it looks like to me. So it feels like it might be tea time now. Time for the banana and a cup of tea. So I've given this a cast as best I can, as best I understand. It's like I say, it's one of these pools I just never feel that I understand it. So I think that'll do me, and I'll go up and get a cup of tea. So I'm just giving this a wee quick swim with the cone head. It's just an intermediate tip and a cone head, just to take it down a wee bit. It's, as you can imagine, it's not fishing that deep. And it's just in case anything's in here that just might want something a wee bit deeper, though I don't think it matters really. I think if they're going to come up for it, they're going to come up for it. And the fact that I fished this earlier and nothing moved, nothing, basically, I suspect means that there's nothing lying here. But I could be wrong, of course. In fact, I would like to be wrong. Oh, it's amazing. The minute the sun goes in, how much cooler it gets just in a second, you know. Because it's nearly too hot to stand in the sun in the buffalo, and nearly too cold to stand in it when the sun goes in. Dear. Just a wee bit close to the edge that time, but well, that's okay. Right, so I think that'll do me here, and what I'll do is now I'll walk up the river to my lunch having spot, and maybe I'll have a wee cast there. She must be made soup for me, so I have soup and some rolls for my lunch today, which is fantastic. So let's move on up. So here I am, I've come up to the battery, and she must be a bed, an excellent cook, and she very kindly made me some of her great lentil soup, which is the best lentil soup ever. And I've got a roll here as well, lentil soup and a roll. What more could you ask for? What a fabulous day out. Like, just, I know some people need to catch fish and all that, but isn't this just wonderful to get to come and sit up here? And it's a real privilege to come out here, you know, it really is. I know some people are entitled and want fish and all that, and there are so few spring fish on Lewis that it isn't worth fishing for them. It's a grills fishery and I have fantastic grills, but it's just wonderful to come up here on a spring day, enjoy the lentil soup, which is the best lentil soup ever. I'll have my roll in a minute, and then I'll have a wee cup of tea that's brewing over there, and then I'll fish down this pool. You can't beat it. I'm just standing here taking in the view while I have my cup of tea. You always wonder if you might not look down and there'd be a big fish go running up the wee bit of the falls there. But what an amazing place, isn't it? This has to be one of the most remarkable places to fish. And I suppose that's hardly a secret to anyone, but it's fantastic to come out here, you know. I'm just, it's my first day out this year, and I'm so glad to be out, but to come somewhere like this for your first day out in the year is just like amazing, you know. So what I'm going to do now is, you see, I'm going to fish down this pool. Usually fish are caught in the top of it here, but with this high water, I'm going to suspect that maybe they'll be further down towards the tail. But I'm going to start up here, have a wee throw here, just in case there's anything, especially because I still have the wee tube on. So, drink more tea. I still have the wee tube on. So it's going down a wee bit, you know, and it'll be okay to fish it in this sort of height of water. But the water's very clear. I don't know if you can see that. So it's not like a PD Highland stream. This runs really, really clean and clear. Really a remarkable river, you know. So I think that's the next priority. Now that I'm getting the tea into me, I'll get the rod out again, and I'll take a wee boogie down this pool. This pool does sometimes produce a springer. I think if they run up really fast, sometimes they'll delay in here. And I suppose you see it's good deep pool, good flow of water through it. So they might sit there for an hour or two to rest their legs, you know. Right, let's get to it. And you see that looks like a decent cast, you know, more the place where I want it maybe. The water's a bit heavy up at this top end. Oh, tweet. Oh, wee tweet. we'll try and take a step down. The casting here in some places a wee bit tricky because of the limited scope for a back cast. We'll see how we go. So, right, so move down the wee step. And to this point, and this is coming down, I suppose, this bit, I think, is maybe more hopeful. I think, anyhow. But just the tail looks more promising today, you know. Right, so I'll probably move down a pool now, on the basis that I feel like I've given this one a good wee trial. So one down below there, you see, I'm not going to go far, but it's a nice pool as well, and worth a rattle. And then once I've fished it, what I might do is take the tube off and go back to a double. Because again, as I've been saying, the springers will come up for anything really, and the water here is so clear. I mean, they can probably see the fly from the other side of the pool, you know. So right, well, I think we've covered this. My plan now is to go back to the double, just to take the cone head off, go back to one of John McLean's doubles and try it. It's a wee bit bright now. I don't have as much cloud, which is a bit unfortunate, I suppose, but it's the way it is. Also, I'm hoping that if I go back down to the bottom pools again, that with the tide having, I think it's May coming in, it might have, you know, when the river is big, something might have moved in off the tide. Now, it's not big tides at the minute, but nonetheless, it's something might have moved in off the tide just and thought, oh, well, the river's big, I'll just come in, giving it a wee chance, you know. So I think that's what I'll do. Make my way down a wee bit. I might have a cast on the way down. There's lots of good spots, but there's one in particular that I might just have a wee quick cast in. And then maybe try the pools lower down that I fished in the morning. And that will do me, probably. I don't know if there have been any in here recently, but in the distant past, this pool was famous for holding the odd springer. So it's quite stony actually. The bottom part of this, although it looks great, isn't great in low water, but in water like this, I always think it looks great, you know. A wee bit of quite a bank behind me as well. So the casting's a wee bit tricky, but not too bad. It's sort of avoidable at the minute. So I'm working my way down again towards the sea, just in case the tide has changed, and I'll give this just a few minutes here. Well, yes, the tide will have changed, but just in case something has come in on it, you know. So I'm going to give this just a quick cast down here, just in case anything has come up the rapids there, and just decided to have a wee pause here, as you might, you know. Not paying too much attention to it, but I hope enough. As you can see, I've bagged the prime parking space in world salmon fishing, so I'm always pleased about that. You see, when I get my parking space, I think that's the world's best salmon fishing parking space, and there's a sheep up there that agrees. You know. So I've come back down here for a wee cup of tea, and it's looking completely splendid. I thought when I got here maybe that the water had risen a wee bit throughout the morning, but actually it's still showing just 6 on the gauge, just what it was when I was here earlier. The tide obviously is on its way back in, so just maybe, you know, the tide coming in, it might encourage the fish to sneak in out of the sea. And that's my hope. So I'm going to give this a wee run down and see if I can have any successes. And if not, I'll try the sea pool again, and then that'll be me close to done for the day, I would say. But what a fantastic day out, you know. I mean, look, isn't it wonderful? See, river's in fine form. Scooshing down there and away out to the sea. And there'll be the odd springer sneaking its way in, sneaking past us at night, running away up into the big loch up at the top, and it'll hide there all through the spring and summer and autumn until it spawns, and then next sort of early spring or late winter it will wash back down as a kilt again and back out to sea. Amazing, isn't it? So down here again, and I just have a feeling this is the best chance we have today, if we have any chance at all. So we'll give it a wee try. I'm still on one of John's black and silver flies, and the intermediate tip. Just to be honest, the floater might do just as well, but the intermediate just stops it skating a wee bit in this heavier water, I suppose. I'm on quite a big fly now, maybe a size 8-ish, something like that way. It was a bit of weed I caught. I know it's there because I'm actually, because the water's quite high, I'm actually coming in quite close to the bank in places, you know. But yeah, I'm on a size 8, so I'm really quite large for me, I would say. I came down to the sea pool here just for a last bash here. Just with the tide a wee bit higher, no, not much to be fair. But just in case anybody has snook in since we were last here, because you never know. Strange things happen sometimes, so again, that'll be a wee finicker. Something similar. I'll get down another step or two. So that's me done for the day. What a fantastic day out, like. I know we haven't had any fish, but spring fish is so rare and loose, and I think I've had more of my fair share. I've maybe already had my quota, but just had such a lovely day and a lot of water in the river. And I know the experts will be saying, oh, too much water, too much. I like it lower than that. And I get that because the fish all run up, you know, really fast and so on. But even so, it's just such a wonderful river to fish, you know. And I mean, I only fished some of it today, a few of the pools. So all the good pools aren't in the video, you know. So I'll just wrap it up and head for home on my dinner, I think, because it kind of feels like it's that time of day. And hopefully I won't hook something at this stage, because if I do, I don't have enough battery left in the GoPro, so you'll not get to see very much, because I'm just about out of battery. But I thought I'll have one last splash down here before I call it quits.